me in the narrative, right? But anyway, let's get the. Oh, we've had the show on the road for 10 seconds now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Aha! All right, you all right.
Um,
Hopefully, the beginning of all of that made sense as I was sharing some of my feelings about David Icke and
I'm
how
sure it
I
will.
really, I really should maybe ask him for a conversation on the channel, but I gotta work up to it.
Hmm. Um,
But he had a really good conversation with Jim Brewer, uh, kind of introducing all the woo concepts to him.
hmm.
Because Jim Brewer is he's really kind of getting on board, and because he's getting on board, he had a really interesting conversation with his buddy about Jim Carrey. Now, Brewer is at the very least a B-list comedian, former
Mm.
SNL. He's going to understand exactly half of the things that Jim Carrey has done professionally. And for
Yeah.
him to say that is not Jim Carrey is helpful because he can explain. I bet Roseanne Barr says that's not Jim Carrey. I bet you $1,000,000 she's going to say that. And all these can explain the background shenanigans in which they can rationalize it from their experience.
Yeah. I mean, supposedly the whole Jim Carrey thing, there was someone who came forward and was like, "Hey, it indeed wasn't. It was me in a mask." Um,
But Jim Carrey hasn't come forward. Jim Carrey's
no, it
people have
wasn't. It
come.
wasn't Jim. It wasn't Jim. Like,
Jim has not come out on camera once again
no, it
and
was someone else.
explained
Some
in his
some
own words, standing in
some
front.
mask maker of some kind.
Dude, Osama bin Laden took credit for 9/11. All right? Osama bin Laden said, yeah, I totally did that. Come bomb this location I told you I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't trust the fucking guy taking credit for it.
I'm not.
He's not shown us if he wanted to take credit for it immediately. Then why wasn't he? Meaning he would have pre-planned to confess that he did it. He would want to show you the footage. Just drop it on his fucking Twitter.
Well, he did, but it was all pretty much
He didn't
AI
drop.
generated.
No, he dropped how he does makeup to sell his makeup gig. He didn't drop
Yeah.
him getting in his Jim Carrey face and then doing his act and also getting on stage and speaking French. Can he speak fucking French?
I don't know,
We
but
don't know if he can speak fucking French. Sorry, I don't mean to yell at you, but this is the level. This is the level for people trying to figure out that side of it. Listen, Jim Carrey is not in the Epstein files, but he is in the Isaac Cappy testimonies that you can watch anywhere you want when he whistle blew. This is why I had the Phoenix Enigma back on my channel just recently because of the confirmed correlations that Isaac Cappy knew before he died and confessed that he figured out because of his place in human trafficking he was turning himself in for that the FBI refused to charge him for. Because charging him on what he is confessing and publicly talking about would have destroyed what the Hollywood Mafia was trying to protect at the time. They failed, but they did take him out. All right? Like we see all this happening. And Isaac Cappy had one conversation on the internet where he expressed in part what him and Jim Carrey talked about as Jim Carrey was trying to use Isaac to save his own ass. And Isaac said that he told Jim that, I'm sorry, man, the only thing I can do for you is help you save your soul. You're not going to survive eating a child. I'm sorry. There's no get out of all of that, right?
no.
Because that's what Isaac was doing, and Isaac didn't do anything personally wrong. He just blindly accepted his role as a child trafficker, never having needed to be conscious of what the fuck he was actually doing. Just to blindly sleepwalk through the gig, and then he fucking woke up in the middle of what the fuck he was doing because Seth Green horrified him. All right? So that's what's going on with Jim Carrey. And it's like I said in my recent video, you're not distracted, you're overwhelmed. Yeah. Because you know that there's a whole big thing going on. You're trying to do the helpful thing of looking at the whole media matrix and what it's throwing at you and say, what is this fucking message that the media is really trying to tell me? Right? Because we all understand their karmic principle that they have to tell you what they're doing. Right? And so you got to work on yourself a lot more. Right? Because, people, there's going to be a lot of people that have not done the shadow work. You'll just get a whole lot of people, though, that are, they're probably, good and decent enough people that have not had too many, troubles, especially if they grew up in those more, like, straight, like positive background. Like, there's less, like I went through some nonsense, right? So I've got a bit of a nasty shadow that's integrated. Right? Some people didn't get a nasty shadow, right? Or they can hide a nasty shadow amongst a bunch of benign shadows, if you will. From maybe their shadow's not even integrated because Christians aren't doing shadow integration, at least not fucking consciously. Right?
No, they're ignoring their shadow.
If they're lucky, something in the mysterium is working its way out, and the shadow came as Jesus to them, and they lucked out. Oh, you're lucky. You're as a Christian, sometimes Jesus is your shadow. Just going to warn you that sometimes Loki, I mean Satan, is your shadow also. A fair warning. Right, so people don't know thyself, and we ran out of the time for the world in which you could afford to be obsessively working on yourself. Right? During the entire leisure period leading up to the 2020. Right?
Yeah.
Because back then everything else was taken care of in the professional fold of the world, and you could live your life, and as long as you're, in adherence to everything you're supposed to be doing with money and law and life and you're taking your doctor's advice, and you're not a controversial human being in any sense or sort, and you get to work on yourself, and that's what you did with all that vacation time you earned, right? The Saturnian structure of the world does not operate that way anymore, right? And that's an oversimplification of making people understand the world has changed, which is why I have the very odd position on Iran that I have. Right? Okay. Where I'm still not somebody who likes, trusts, and supports Israel, but at the same time, I know that there's a fucking agenda going on with this situation. But at the same time, I'm sick and tired of that world continuing to exist on the way that it does, because nothing is stopping the fact that we're just dragged into it. Let the fundamentalists believe we're fighting it for whatever reason they want to believe, right? At the end of the day, the Shia Islamic socialist dictatorship experiment is probably just over, right? I think that people don't understand, like, this is just more socialism, right? This is just socialism merged with fundamentalism, right? And the Jews, the issue with them, but they're not, like the top of their government is still secular. They're not like fundamentalists. They're very proud of their liberalisms, but also there's the room for the conservatisms because they're very, just like, the Sunnis don't have a big issue, right? People are still thinking about World War III, and I think it's very obvious. I think that it wasn't in the game plan to destroy ISIS. I don't think it was in the game plan to destroy Soleimani. And without a destabilized Levant, you've got Sunni Islam getting along with Israel and having a hard time in the modern era, perhaps pulling off some of their nonsense because perhaps they've learned through suffering about how the alignments are really operating, and everybody understands that the Islamic Caliphate was pretty much an engine of Iran, and Iran is an engine of the global socialist conspiracy. And we forget that we act like their isolation is like because they're this, like, no, there's a globalist blessing upon it. Cuba's there are ways that we could have done things, like we could do to Cuba what we did to Maduro right this second while fighting a full front in Iran. We got enough fucking shit to do it, and the way we like to fucking fight our wars, and the kind of tertiary support we can get to be a part of it. So it all is what it is. And like, I'd rather there be peace in the world. Everybody fucking does. We don't live in that fucking reality. I've not called for this war, but this war is fated. And that's all I look at it. As somebody who did not call for this war, but it is now happening, the political posture of your opinion is completely irrelevant. Now we are fated in this war. Let's go the direction it's going to go, because we tried really hard to change the mind of fundamentalists on the left and the right, in the West and the Middle East. And it didn't happen. But also what didn't happen is that Russia and China are not very interested in helping. They're not very, like, apparently there's intel from Russia going to Iran, and that's the big worry. And nobody seems to be worried about that. The press said that directly to the military, and the military says, don't matter, they're dead. It's just like, they're dead. It all reminds me of Monty Python at the beginning of Holy Grail. You're going through the credits, and the guy does the llama bit. And it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, the guys that did the thing with the llama, they've been sacked. And then more llamas come into the script. I'm sorry, we've sacked the guys that sacked the guys, right? And then we just keep, like, that's what America's doing. They form an Islamic government, it gets sacked. You surrender and get, oh, look at that, you formed another government. Kapoom. Eventually, they're not going to have a competent leadership. You know, it's just like, it can break way more quickly. You know, they say, like, they're saying, oh, it's propaganda. They were, you know, that they slaughtered all. It's 40 fucking 7 years of history of who they are and what they are, that they still want to be. And all of a sudden, oh, look at the military rhetoric. Oh, look, see how secular and professional Iranian military rhetoric is. Oh my God, look at the fundamentalist Christians thinking they're angels bombing demons. This, you're looking at that like it means something? This very public, like, inside jargon happening while the war is live, and you don't think that that's maybe somebody's propaganda. That is adorably naive. Terrifying and adorable at the same time. You know, depends on how old you are. You're a grown man with agency and you believe this? Holy shit. Oh, but you do realize the draft is a thing. You really, I get you democratically minded people forget how democratically minded bad decisions happen. You know, I've been looking to revoke the draft forever. I'm just glad we've never thought of it so much. Now we're thinking about it a lot. And every time I see it, I'm on X, I'm just like, do not invoke the draft. People act like the draft needs to be passed by law. Like, no, it just needs to be reactivated. That's it, you fuckwits. That's it. Fuck you. Fuck you hardcore. This war can go for as long as our volunteer fundamentalist army would like to kill themselves. Go ahead, have at it. In other news, I'm really excited because my vinyl copy of Better Nut came in.
Ooh, nice.
Oh my gosh. I've
Oh,
been
that looked good, bro.
I've been hurting to hear hurting on vinyl. It's a good song. It hits me in the feels. All right. Anyway,
Um, Before we go any further,
yeah.
I want to say congratulations to my buddy Saad. He became a father as of yesterday evening. He is, and he's a good friend. I've worked with him in the penitentiary. Really, grew as friends. He's
You
a
were
good
pen
guy.
pals.
No, we actually see each other. Like it's only 30-40 minute drive. Um,
That's cute.
it's the Netherlands, bro. It's a small
Give my
country, okay?
flowers.
So
Tulips are gonna be worth a whole lot someday. I promise.
I wish all the best to Saad and his wife. I have activated super chats, and I want to say that all the super chats for tonight will go to a gift for the baby. So just wanted to put that out there. So congratulations, Saad, and best of luck to you, because he's gonna need it. Being a father is it's a hell of a job.
All right. So we didn't need too much warm up. I'm looking. The chat's a little bit lit today.
Yeah.
We should probably have at it. Let's do my friends that know me forever. You guys wait at the back of the line. Okay, Violence,
Let's
Howard.
do
Y'all,
pagan.
I'll get to you guys at the end. Let's make Logan of
Well, let's do
Texas
pagan farm school first, because
and
they've
Pagan.
been trying to
Well,
catch
yeah, I
us
was gonna
live
say Pagan
forever.
Farm School first. Yeah, yeah.
They've
All right.
been trying to catch us live forever, and now
Yes.
they're
Yes.
finally
Yes.
here. So
Good. 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 All right. All right. So I hope my ramblings have not cut all of your time. Let's make it happen. So, excuse me, Pagan
Sure.
Farm. You got 39. You're limping. You're limping. All right. Something's wrong with your walk, sir. Fruitful in the west and south. Not fruitful in the east and north, obviously. Fruitful to see great people. Constancy, good fortune. Take a step back from the struggle and connect with people more than ideals. Seeing helpful people keeps you traveling towards your long term vision, despite the obstacles and course corrections. Someone with experience and wisdom might reorient you, or you may be guided by an inner vision or visitation. Where can you find help? How could you see the obstacles differently? Can you imagine going a different way? Right. So limping. This is just it's the idea, it's not that you're literally moving improperly through your situation like in a physical manner, but it'll feel like you're going in a wrong direction, that like you almost feel like your spirit is making the right while your rational mind is going along with the idea that left is the correct and proper thing that you ought to do right now, right? So because a lot of this often comes from not attending to what is emerging in the irrational and finding its congruence with the rest of yourself, right? And then this is where all sorts of certain doubts can come from with people that are open to all of that decision making, right? And like I struggled sometimes crushingly with certain decisions. Sometimes I can still linger in the grocery store a little too long because I'm trying to choose between A, B, C, and D, and only one of them checks most of the boxes for a nutritious dinner, right? And so, there's the question of should I've gone down this aisle to find this or that aisle to find that, because I'm not gonna fucking scan every fucking thing because my mind, like, I'm far too naturally and needing to be a little bit ADD, ADHD, in order to move comfortably in my own skin. So, I'm still here. Okay, good. I'm just assuming that Stein either went off or his camera's having an issue.
Yeah, my camera's having issues again.
Yeah.
It
I don't think it's
fucking keeps
capturing.
happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's capturing motion when it's on. It looks like you're just freezed on your. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
you
and
looking all like.
I know it always freezes at the most charming places. It's really annoying.
All right, Elder Horse has popped up for you. So you need a travel assistant. And we're just entering now the year of the Fire Horse, so I think this is asking you to set a tone for your year. Not just this issue, but this is also going to be the instrument that carries you forth as the psychopomp that the horse is. When your relational experience of your environment are filled with subtle signs that only feel detectable to you, call upon me so that I can help you trust yourself. I think somebody had horse last week too. When you find yourself saying that you're too sensitive, remember that your acute perception is a superpower. I am here to remind you that trusting those nudges will always lead you to greener and more vibrant pastures. Right. There's so much that's intuitive and incredibly picked up because of the manner of peripheral vision that horses are capable of. They have to have a certain there's a certain relationship that the wild horse has to its environment when it's just in its free traveling flow, versus the horse who is in that ehwaj state partnered with man and being led through the man's subtle hand, in which the horse is happy to oblige if they are operating in the natural order, right? Which is, which good and evil has its own way of things, and whatever the nature of a man is, with a horse. If you know the nature of the horse, you'll know the nature of the man, and or vice versa, depending on what you read, right? It's just like, oh, that's Sauron. It's just like, oh, that must be Sauron's horse, right? That kind of thing. Riders of Rohan, they were breeding. If you read the books, Sauron had tricked them into breeding horses for Mordor. The Ringwraiths were riding the best stock of Rohan. Those are Rohanian war horses that the Ringwraiths ride. That's what Wormtongue's job was. Arms dealing to Mordor.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's all in the book.
I need to read the books again, man.
Yeah. Read the books again. It might be in the liner notes, which like are at the back of Return of the King, at least on my classic 1980s Del Rey Publishing box set version that I almost lost my Return of the King copy. So I'm very glad about that. But no, that's an important detail in the geopolitical element going on, right? And there's been a correlation between the media and arms dealers for a long time, and Saruman represents this very Ahrimanic, this very Ahrimanic media force that is involved with arms dealers. I think particularly of the scene in Iron Man 3, in the Iron Man trilogy, was about arms dealers. In Iron Man 3, when it was the news helicopters that showed up at Stark Manor that then turned into attack helicopters. That was your hint, as well as the entire farce of the media protecting the identity of the Mandarin, who was really just a British actor playing, a Chinese tribal radical, but was technically Osama bin Laden. I loved Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 gave up so much of the game, but I kind of hate that the fact that people just didn't like see the correlation and do the work in the real world. It was just all play, right? And only now, especially with the Disney connection to Epstein, to see people see the significance. This, like, I understood these things. I did my show. I did the Soul Code Genetics esoteric breakdown of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with the Branch, Joshua the Branch, and Chris, King of Cups, old friends of mine. And
Nice.
when you look at Epstein's biotech genetic research, he was the fucking high evolutionary, motherfucker. They were giving away the game. That's why I fucking love the MCU. It was helping my fight. But a lot of people just wanted to play with their toys. And they're still trying to play with their toys. And they don't want to admit that their toys are based on monsters. I mean, well, the toys are not really based on monsters, but monsters have been representing the toys that they like for far too long now. Anyway, let's get to the rest of this reading that we have all sorts of tarot and runes to pick at. Yeah, I believe in Two Towers is when that is revealed. Because that's when because I think that's when Wormtongue is purged for Rohan, is in Two Towers. And I can't remember if it's before or after that it's divulged. I'm pretty sure it's before, because I think it had something to do with Gandalf's plot in driving the serpent out. Okay. You've got your focus position. Here's more blocked travel. You got transition reversed, right? So this is the 6 of Arrows. Your mind is having trouble. Once again, we were talking about the rational mind in bridging between where you are and your high heart destination, right? Because your mind is lying to you about what is your high heart destination. You're rationalizing your destination. You're fighting with the horse. The horse knows you don't want to cross the river here. Othal. Right. You're not making the transition to home. You're going to be in a state of unrest until you can accomplish this transition. You've been rejecting. You're holding on to some dead weight. You're holding on to some dead weight, and so the journey is it's almost like you sort of think you're on the journey because it's partially a journey in the mind, and you've gone through some motions and some changes, but you're limping through it. And so you can't make it. You can't make the transition on the limp. We've got Laguz reversed. So you can't let go of this because you've only had a very shallow perspective of this triggering event that has brought all of this about. King of Bows reversed, represented by the adder snakes, right? And this is and this represents there's actually 4 snakes in this picture for the adder snake. You got the 2 that are kind of heading off. So like, the king is obviously the one on top of the escarpment, or whatever the heck escarpment, whatever they call this jaunting rock ridge, right? And then you've got these 3 others down below fighting each other, and one of them is winning that fight and is trying to challenge the king, right? This is the reptilian conflict, right? That's how this king of bows, which is fire, is being represented, right? So that came up reversed here, and so you're not in your authority. You are letting the reptilian suppressive thoughts coming from others and not from your reptile brain get confused with what would be something you'd agree with and defeat yourself, right? You're being tricked into being defeated by yourself. And we got Uwaj here. So this is kind of like you're going to be in this eternal death rattle if you don't make changes to this disposition. Because you're letting too many of the little subtle things allow just anything just to knock your crown off. Mind your head. Two of bows, decisions. So you've got to look at the tremendous difference between where it looks like you're going and where you're going is supposed to look like. And ask yourself what the hell keeps tugging it in this fucking direction, right? Because you perhaps this is upright despite all this, because you are now realizing that you're being bottlenecked into one decision, right? And it's a very assertive, like this is fire. This is a willpower action, right? There's the mental decisions in the swords, the emotional decisions in the cups, and of course the physical decisions of the pentacles. This is your action. This is the very actionary decision. And Gabo, whatever decision you make, it's going to reward you as much as you invest in that decision. All right. So let me take a look and read what... Okay, Boromir had accused Rohan of it. Yeah, Boromir had accused... Yeah, and Boromir is that... He's a very noble man. He's very much painted as intelligent. Wouldn't make that accusation unfounded. And that's not part of Tolkien's writing style. Boromir is making that accusation because it holds a weight of the truth of Gondor under it. And Boromir, he's got the horn. He's got the warning horn. He's the Heimdall of the mythos. Boats and horses share much in ancient rock. Holding on too much to get home. Honestly, sounds like what happened every time I played Skyrim. Sure, right. Yeah. You have to get your strength stats up in those Elder Scrolls games. Gotta up the burden, or you get a magical holding bag that never gets heavy, or gets heavy only like at half the rate of heaviness. I seem to remember there was something that did that. You either did that or you upped your strength. It depended on how much magic you skill slotted. But anyway, that's not important at all. Okay. Let's see. All right, so I don't see Pagan making any kind of response thus far, so I am going to pull your card and move on to the next reading.
All right.
All right. Your whisper is growth. The tallest oak tree once started as a seedling. Don't be afraid to start something new. So you got decisions here in your skuld. This growth is also telling you to be initiatory of something that has not been before, you know, new project, new thing altogether. Yeah, you know, like you want to break this cycle. If you look at Othala, if I were to take Othala like this on its side, and if I were to take a Kenaz rune and link it like a bind rune, it would become a double diamond, or the 88, the infinite loop, right? And so home is a place that grounds you, and you're supposed to loop that energy back into the earth. And this is what breaks the cycle, because it puts you in the healthiest cycle of all, which is your natural circadian rhythm. And you will not find that unless you are in a place that spiritually accepts you as home. Otherwise, the nervous system cannot rest.
Mm-hmm.
And it will not be at rest. Like if I leave the house and I'm not home, I'm still pretty much in just as much rest, because I'm going to all these familiar places that I know, I understand. You know, in the free and sometimes horrifyingly unsecure world we live in, because you know, somebody has the imagination you need a lot of cops, but you don't. But at the same time, if you're in a dangerous neighborhood, you actually do. But I don't go to dangerous neighborhoods, do my shopping and such, right? Like, but the point is that all of it is by extension home, right? I'm not worried about the end of my day, and I'm not terribly worried about what's going to go on once I've gone out into public at whatever level of personal self-defense that I am comfortable with, because there's a large understanding of our society. Oh, we live in a society. This is a society, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. I hear what Zerilath is saying. I'm making notes. The infinite loop. Yes. Okay. So there we go. Good. All right. So next, I think we're doing Logan. Logan is next.
All right, Logan, buddy. Let's get it done. And Pagan Farm School, thank you for joining us live. Good to
Yeah.
finally see you in the live comments instead of
Yeah.
the comments
Glad to
afterwards.
get one out to you. Hope you're telling some people interested in the reading world about me. Okay, you got Logan. You got 41, decreasing. Yes. There's truth and confidence from the Sorth. Ah, my Mike Tyson voice just turned on all of a sudden. Suffering? Fuck that. There is truth and confidence from the source. Good fortune, not a mistake. There can be constancy. Fruitful to have a direction to go. 2 simple baskets may be used for the offering. The early Chinese character for decreasing shows a hand with a vessel. Pour out what you have in offering, however small. When you focus your faith on something higher than everyday life, it opens the flow of good fortune and your life becomes lighter and simpler. Trust your insight and persevere in your chosen direction. Why do you want to make such an offering? How much is truly asked of you? All right. $39. We have the Elder Starfish. All right, that's gonna be interesting. How does one spiritually connect with something that is, starfish are almost like plants. You know what I mean? They're like plants that can move around. I feel like they're more plant than animal. But anyway.
And they eat out the butthole.
All right. The elder starfish, which is called the Gichiaya Ananggigun. Retrieve your destiny. Invoke my medicine when you fear that you have lost your way and cannot find your purpose. I am the keeper of destinies and will call you back home. I shine with iridescent hues, reflecting the brilliance of the star nation. My gift is to connect the realms of land and sky with my ability to regenerate. You are reminded that you can always begin again. You are always held by my wide, open heart.
No.
Ain't that cute? Yeah, the wide open. Yeah, I guess because I suppose like the center of the starfish is like its mouth is there, and I basically all of its organs are just kind of like right there in the center.
Yeah.
And its mouth and everything, because that's just the way it is as an organism. And so when it can't do anything without its heart center, and as a pentagram, it's bringing in the 5 energies into heart center, right? As you know, as a 5-pointed starfish. Granted, any point, but they chose the 5-pointed, and I think 5-pointed is the most common anyway. But
yeah, usually.
which is very interesting, or because the human being is also a 5-pointed creature: head, arms, and legs. Okay.
Oh, and it can also reproduce both sexually and asexually.
Yeah, so we don't have that much in common with the starfish. All right. Page of Vessels, otter. Right? And it's reversed. So, you you're having trouble learning a certain emotional lesson critical to the issue. And Uruz. But you've got the vitality, you've got the strength for the issue. This is something involving an emotional deficiency. Okay, 7 of arrows, insecurity reversed. All right. So, with the insecurity card, you've got 3 arrows that have struck her and the others have missed. You can see them all up around the chest area. There's 3 arrows there that hit her. The others are around her. And so you're sitting there reversed, and it's the hurtful thoughts. It's the vulnerability factor, right? That is and what the mind does to deal with emotions, and the insecurity coming from the doubt. The emotional lessons will remove the insecurity, giving you the ability to be more vulnerable, because in life, sometimes you have to take a couple of arrows.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a healthy go through with the insecurities you have, which all people have, it'll cripple all of your growth and development.
And a lot of men will very simply take an arrow to the knee.
Right. And you've got Thorisaz reversed over here also. So, because you've felt largely defenseless, and that's like on a nervous system level, like I physically feel threatened. It makes it a little bit worse because you don't know how to handle some of the arrows, right? So you've kind of got like a twofold level, right? And once again, like Thorisaz Uruz are physical world runes. So there's something very materially basic about this. It's not all just in your head. Otherwise, you wouldn't also have Uruz here and being in its in the focus position of the spread. Hooded man reversed. So, right now, your time, the time that you've spent on the reclusive side or in your times of solitude, you have not spent them working on the right thing. However, you did get Ansu's upright. So you do know the right thing that you gotta do at that time. And then 8 of Vessels reversed, which is rebirth, which shows our cascading cups, bowls, cauldrons, cups into the mouth of the river, right? And so that's reversed. So the insecurity is causing an entire emotional flow blockage, right? And so that blockage is part of the issue with the otter being reversed, because if the river's all dried up, the otter will leave and go elsewhere for emotional sustenance. And we have Ehwaz. Ehwaz. You have to work on a certain relationship. There's a certain relationship involved with the situation as you know it that is needs to be more, it's Awaj. You have to have a little bit more care with the person going on here. All right.
So yeah, Logan has a lot going on, and it's been really ramping up from the last few weeks. So one thing that he said that is very typical is the name crest for Logan is a heart with 3 arrows or 3 stakes in it. And he
3 arrow 3. Well, that's also the 3 of swords is also that symbolism, right? The 3 of arrows in this deck has a it's 3 arrows in a burning wooden heart that's been hung up on a tree.
He is currently homeless, but at a hotel with good friends who he is going to be roommates with. And this really helps him gauge things. So, Logan, hope you're okay. Hope you're going to be all right. Hope you'll find your footing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think of with the starfish, right? So you're homeless, you're at someone's house.
No, at a hotel.
A starfish is they're in the bottom feeder category, right? So this guy, he's like he's a little bit of a guardian angel type of thing. It's just like he's there. He's one of those rock bottom, you know, like a night nurse kind of character, right? So like you're going to, so like while you're there, think about, okay, I'm a starfish in a tank. What's the best thing I can do for myself and the people around me in this tank? And just as you're going about your day, you know, clean with purpose and dignity, right? You know, things like that with your downtime. Be productive in various capacities. I would recommend filling out job applications. If you don't know how to write your resume, write your resume. Write it out by hand and type it out by later if you have to. Go look up a format for a resume. I worked with a friend. He gave me some bait. Like I had no idea I could make my resume look the way that it does. And within a month of using that resume online, that's when I started working in construction.
I believe several text processors like Google Docs or Microsoft Word, for example, have standard templates. I know Google Docs has a standard template for a resume.
There's a lot of free open source stuff on the internet. You just have to, you know, have the access. And you're watching me on the internet right now, so you just have to figure out if you've got the right machine. Because if you're on your phone, probably still be done, but it's gonna be weird. I wouldn't know how to do it on the phone. I know how to sit down in front of a computer and open up the apps and start banging away and using the mouse and all this stuff, right?
I mean, on mobile, the formatting is going to be a bit weird. It can be done, but it'd be better to do on a like on a laptop or desktop. If you don't currently have one, go to your local library, use theirs.
I'm pulling a bonus for you too. So you got Ace of Arrows reversed, the Breath of Life, right? So you do need to spark something in your mind here, man, right? Like for me, the spark in the mind was shit, if I can at least do $90, get my OSHA 10, I can put that on this resume, and then I work in construction. So that's what I did. Right? So I got my OSHA, opened up a whole bunch of jobs for me. Right? And because that put my mind into certain aspects of thinking about how certain job safety things work, protocols, and all of a sudden my mind was a lot more comfortable day by day in these different places. And now most construction sites I can just navigate like it's nothing. I understand where I'm stepping and how good or bad footing might be there. Whether this is the absolute best place for a helmet or not. I guess Stein will be right back. I'm still live with you? Yes, I am. Right? And so things sparked on that merit because of what was necessary to learn. Then we got Saul, right? So you want to spark this thing in your mind that is going to be part of something that's going to deeply work for you, right? It's just like, I'm a musician. I'm in construction. I'm a construction worker, because that's just what I'm doing to make money, right? I'm a construction worker in that respect, but, I'm a musician, right? Musician has always been the thing for me, and I need to have a couple of my own things happen with the music itself. But as far as making the change in how I work and the kind of work that I work and liking it and everything else working for my daily life, and just very good, like, I'm happy about shit that people ain't happy about, just because I have a completely different attitude about the very world I walk in. And that's what you have to have, a completely different filter, a completely different way. This is why, if you want to read Martin Heidegger's Being in Time with me on the channel, you could be my guest and you see if you can maybe perceive your way out of your own hell. Because that was very helpful to me, reading that book and putting a lot of stuff I already knew about how I perceived reality into articulated forms, right? Dasein is a genius concept that everybody should be factoring into their everyday life, the way I do with also objectivism, which is crazy because Dasein is far more subjective, but they work because you have to understand the balance between the inner world and the outer world, because only the inner world can be subjective and only the outer world can be objective. And cognitive dissonance is when you don't know when to put away your inner world for the outer world and vice versa. This is why people have their idea, right? It's just like their idea about Iran, right? It's because their inner world was in congruence with an outer world that changed, and they didn't change. They didn't change in accordance to how the world changed. They weren't paying attention to the little details, which is why all these people that promised us World War III were wrong. It's the war. The war has happened, but Russia and China's got nothing to do with it. They're just sitting there like they're waiting for Iran to fall, and then they're going to have fun. I mean, they might as well just get in now while Iran has a force to fight alongside them for what would be their government. See how it just doesn't make sense, right? So that's what makes it interesting. So you may in fact be homeless because you were lying to yourself about the way the world works because it used to work like that. Because that's what I was doing. And if it weren't for my choice to stay in the nest, I'd just be a homeless guy like you too, man. Get out of that hell. Because you're in a future that I personally avoided at nearly 46 years old. Okay? Okay. Because that threat could still linger. Who knows? Who fucking knows? On SSI, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, you gotta crawl out of the grave in some way, shape, or form, man. You gotta crawl out of the grave. You gotta look. That's like, look at your whole situation. SSIs are a serious thing, right? I'm forgetting exactly what SSIs are, but I know it's medical involved. But my point is that everybody has got their big fucking thing. The SSIs is part of a greater dragon in your life that you are avoiding. And that dragon has crushed you, and that is why you are homeless. You are living under the oppression of a dragon you refuse to fight.
SSI is supplemental security income. Provides monthly payments to people with disabilities and older adults who have little or no income or resources.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, well there you go. I'm on unemployment when I'm not working and loans from my parents. So, it's I get it. All right, so that's just money actually. I think I might be thinking of SSRIs.
That's medication.
That's medication. That's what it is, right? Okay, so you're on SSI. Well, that's great. That's great. The system, at least, is not denying you something it says is your privilege to have. Good. So that's one of your graces. Either way, this is not about all this shit in the system. This is about your state of fucking mind. All of that is just there for the mindless. You won't need it anymore when you find it. Or it won't be the factor that controls your life. You won't feel the need to bring it up if you're still on it. Because you will have shifted the state of mind in the way that matters.
And temp work is good work as well. Even if it's temporary, something may come out of it eventually.
Right? I mean, I'm temp. Yeah. Resilient. Stay as strong as evergreen trees. And just remember your value, right? It's just like I can walk up to all sorts of places and say, hey, man, I work in construction, so I'm doing it this way. I've been doing these kinds of jobs. I'm capable of this, that, and the other thing. You want to hire me on? I'm used to working for X amount of dollars an hour. I can walk up to anybody and say certain things based on where I'm at. Things that I did not have the authority to say to anybody 5 years ago. Your life can change real fucking fast when you break that bitch in your mind. Break him. Okay. So, let's see. Who else do we got here? We're going a little over an hour, and I can go a little bit. I can go a little bit further. I can do one or two more.
Well, if anyone's up for it, raise your hands.
Just making sure how your time is going, because I saw Solar over here. Solar's a new friend,
Yeah,
new face, so I think Solar's gonna get the next one.
I mean, I got time. I got nothing
Okay,
nothing else really to do
yep,
tonight.
good. All right, so we'll do Solar, and then after Solar, um, Howard, let me know if you're here, because I think I've given you readings before, but I haven't given you as many readings as my other friends that are here tonight.
Yeah,
So
Howard
we're gonna give
was.
Howard a reading after this if he's still here, or if somebody else pops in and wants a reading, they can have that too. All right.
I mean, Howard was just dropping by. It's been an hour, so maybe he's
Okay.
back
Okay. Well, he can
right now.
if Howard wants to. Okay. All right. If he wants to say hi and say he's still here and wants to hear it, that's good. All right. So, who'd I say? Solar.
Solar.
Solar. You've got confined. 47. Creating success, constancy of a great person, good fortune, not a mistake. There are words, no trust. Can you stick to your purpose when there is no external encouragement or confirmation? No outward signs of progress, nor progress does not mean, I'm sorry, no outward signs of progress does not mean you or the world are wrong. Concentration on inner growth within the confinement. Don't place too much value on words. They are not trustworthy enough to give you a way out. What if you could only rely on yourself? Who are you when you are alone? You've got the elder deer. To soften in love.
Oh, how sentimental.
The Gichi Ayaya Wawukishi. Wawushkishi, excuse me. Invoke my presence when your inner voice of shame gets loud and critical. I will be here to guide you back home to softness. You were born a divine spark of light. Sometimes all it takes is to close your eyes and feel into the sacred vibe. It has been with you since your creation, and my presence helps you to remember your innate beauty. Whenever you are being extra harsh with yourself, I will move into your heart and return you to the vibration of love. All right. So, the vibration of love would be in the direction where they're not trying to eat you. Then the deer runs away. So, if a deer freezes in your headlights, is it because he assumes that you're just trying to give him a big hug? Anyway. We got Ace of Stones. The foundation of life. So, you are working on that establishment, that material establishment of what you are trying to develop. You've got the Wunyo. And this foundation you've made, it's quite good. So you're standing on this excellent foundation. All right. You've got 8 of bows, hearth fire reversed in our origin. So this foundation is meant to establish what was missing. This hearth fire was missing. This place for the warm love of your tribe. And Nalthes, you built this foundation based on the needs that you assessed, looking at where it was not proper for the hearth. Redundant. You get the shaman reversed, though. The craft in which this foundation is being developed is not quite right. Haglas. There's an incongruency between the relationship of the spiritual essence of that hearth fire and what is the material going on the foundation. It's not the foundation, but it's everything going on top of the foundation, right? But it's good that you've got the right foundation. Got 8 of arrows reversed with struggle. So if you don't straighten out this issue with the shaman here, with the the force of intelligence in the construction over the foundation, it'll be a struggle to make the hearth the welcome place that it is meant to be, because it'll have that incongruency with the spiritual connection in the air, that heaven and earth connection. Algies. People will be too defended, right? People will have their defenses up. And so there's a slightly bad context because of the messaging of the reading as a whole. There's nothing wrong with going to the hearth fire with your algae's energy. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it would be defensive instead of to charge the place. It's the difference between being an undercover cop at a party and, you know, being invited to the party.
Quite a difference.
Yeah. So, that is your reading, Solar. If you would like to comment on it.
So because of some technical difficulties, I can't put it up in chat here, but I have the YouTube live stream open. Solar does comment, I'm in the middle of a very intense process of initiation. A million irons in the fire, maybe a bit lacking in focus, trying to do too much, etc. Yeah, we've all been there. We all know that.
Gotcha. Yeah, the public chat isn't showing that. That popped up, I guess, in the YouTube, but I'm just looking at the.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm having some technical difficulties on my
Yeah.
end, which is also why, again, no
Okay.
cam.
Yeah, I would have assumed that issue would not just pop up on. If I figured Riverside was fine, it was on your end, but.
Yeah, I thought
Okay.
it was, but anyway, I have the YouTube chat open, so I can see it there too.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. So yeah. All right. Well then, I will.
Treating this reading as a spot check for where I'm at in the process. And violence. No, we are currently just on YouTube. I usually I try to stream it on Twitch as well, and Patreon, of course. But something did go a little awry with setting up. I'm having some terrible technical difficulties lately. I don't know why. So you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Patreon, patreon.com/Pagans, and Twitch, which is twitch.tv/JarlFox. The Mercury retrograde, yeah, probably. Solar comments. I did a more basic rune pool on this question a few months ago, and the main points of the reading were damn near identical. This is wild. I think I need to listen. Well, I mean, Zerilath is very, very often very right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We were talking about this with Apocalypsis Historia about and he just did a live stream on the Weird Sisters, the Wayward Sisters, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I think you've been on the Wayward Sisters here. You've been a bit wayward, right? You've been taking the Norn's advice too lightly. You got to get your fates in order.
By the way, pretty awesome that you were live with Brady. Like that's been a long time coming.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that, and I'm hoping I can talk to his buddy Chance because he may have some answers on the Templar question, which is good for not just me researching myself, but aspects of the big conspiracy.
And Jules from Greypilt wants to do stuff with you as well.
Yes, I'm talking to him now, so be on the lookout. I will be at some point on Grey Pilled podcast, and
Nice.
also I am north of 780 subs now, so I'm pretty excited. I've never been in the 800 club. I've only been to the 700 club before. This channel has officially been my most successful channel since I rebooted my last account.
Let's see, 783 you are currently at. So
Yes.
make sure to subscribe to Zerilath as well. Let's get him. Let's get him in
Yeah.
the four digits. Let's get him 1K plus.
Yeah. I should be going live and doing the Talmud tonight.
I'm currently sitting at 1289.
Nice. And you, by the way, you need to. I sent him your contact information. My my buddy Maximus North, Falcon Eye Coven.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on sabbatical because he's a shaman, and he's come out of sabbatical after going through some stuff. He's coming in full force, and he's out there wanting to talk to me. I'll probably have him on my channel again. He's been on my channel. I told him that you should talk to Stein.
Okay.
And him. I think you and him will hit it off. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Eric Badby, for the $10 super chat. I'll make sure that it's put to good use.
Yes. All right, so I'm pretty satisfied. I think we can. I think we can call this show.
Yeah. It was, if it was good for you, it was good for me. So,
Yeah. I think we should all smoke a cigarette. Well, don't
Yeah,
tell
'cause
your
why
dad
not?
that, though. He might get jealous.
Do you smoke? I don't know. Never.
Well, yes, but
And
I don't smoke cigarettes.
no, you smoke the good stuff.
Well, I mean, look, you want to give me some tobacco, you can give me some tobacco. I'll smoke tobacco. Tobacco's fantastic, actually. I just don't smoke cigarettes, mostly because American carcinogenic standards are terrible.
I mean, American standards are pretty terrible in general.
Our country can't decide right now if it's for or against glyphosates. I thought we were past this.
Right. Well, long live the great US of A, right? Anyway, thank you all for joining this. This chat was very lively today, which is great. It's good to see. So yeah, make sure to join us again next week. Same place, same time, same beard, same heathens. Yeah, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to Zerilath as well. Let's get him to 1K so he can finally make pennies on the dollar on all of his videos. Um, if you want to support us a little further, if you want to structurally support us, do go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Pagans. I have a lot of bonus material there. I am still doing the Greyhorn Pagans book club, of course. So if you are interested in the runes, if you like these readings, do join us on the book club, where I am currently still reading Night Sight of the Runes, a utterly fascinating book. I'm putting together just a separate video again. I need to do more of these loose videos. And yeah, just for everything else, do visit our website, www.greyhornpagans.com. I recently paid for the domain again, so I'm poor now. But yeah, thank you all for joining. We'll see you all again next week. So have a good evening, good morning, good night, whatever it may be to